Saturday, you guys. Okay, so I've been thinking a lot about this and I felt like I should go live because somebody else needs to hear it. So here we are. Okay, perfection, right? I was talking to a client the other day, a new client, and about how we, especially as women, I feel like get caught in this, this kind of like all or nothing mentality. AKA perfection, right? Where like we have these beautiful goals and these beautiful visions and we try really hard to do them and we give it our all for a short period of time, and if it's not going how we wanted it to, or if we're not showing up perfectly, then we kind of just throw in the towel and we're like, it didn't work, screw it, I'm done. And we kind of go from extreme to extreme, right? Drop something if you felt that way before. I think most of us as women struggle with that, right? And especially as women of God, right? We have this, be perfect like me culture where we're trying to be perfected like God, right? But guess what? We're not supposed to be perfect in this life, right? God does not want us to. He doesn't expect us to be perfect in this life, right? And so I see so many women and people letting the thought of perfection, the pursuit of perfection, keep them paralyzed, right? And instead of doing anything, we do nothing, right? Because it can't be perfect, and so it stresses us out, and we feel like a failure, and so we just stop. And you guys, imperfect action is better than no action, okay? And here's what's really cool. Because God has asked us to try to be like him, right? But he knows that that's not actually possible right now. Guess what's so cool? We need him to get there, right? And so because of the way that we are, God's designed it for us to actually lean on him more in order to start to achieve this be like me path, right? And so what's really cool is when you accept the fact that you cannot be perfect, that you are not supposed to be perfect, you actually get closer to God, or it's an opportunity to get closer to God, right? Because you have to lean on him more and you have to say, hey, God, I have this thing. I'm working really hard. I'm not enough by myself to do it. I'm super imperfect at it, but I know that with you, anything is possible. Will you help me? How do I do this? Show me how to do this. And it brings you closer to him. And so how cool that he designed us to be imperfect, to bring us closer to him, which brings us closer to being perfect someday, right? Like, it's just so beautiful. And I can't get over the fact, this is something I've had to accept about myself, right? Because I struggle with that too, right? Sometimes I'm like, oh, and you guys, I show up here so imperfectly, right? Like right now. And I've just learned to love the imperfect, right? To just dive into the imperfect, because that gives God room in me and in my life to show up more, to get closer to him, to do more with my imperfection. Because if we let the goal of perfection stop us from doing anything, what are you doing, right? Like, we're doing nothing. And God made us to progress, right? He made us to get better and to progress and to learn and grow, but not doing any action does not help you grow. So don't be afraid to show up imperfectly, okay? In your parenting, that's a huge one for me. In your health and fitness, right? In what you eat and how you move your body, what you think about your body, in your businesses, in your relationships, in how you're doing whatever God has asked you to do, right? Show up. It's going to be messy. It's going to be imperfect, but you've got to show up in order for God to do the work through you, right? You've got to ask him to help you. But if you're not taking the steps, he can't walk with you. Okay? So, bam, there you go. I love this. I love this concept of perfection and imperfection, how it brings us closer to God. So don't be afraid to show up imperfectly, but you've got to take the action, okay? So if your health and fitness, inside and out, your wellness is something that you're working on, that perfection is keeping you from actually progressing in, message me, okay? Because this is what I help you do. This is what God and I have figured out together, and we help other women do it, okay? We learn and I teach you how to show up in your health imperfectly and make progress and love it and find the joy, okay? So if this is something you need to work on, please reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. But just remember, Imperfect action is better than no action. Love you guys.